Okay, so it's Boxing Day, December 26th, 2025, coming up to the end of the year, and it's cold this morning. I just went out to go to the pharmacy and to pick a few things up. My pharmacy was closed. When I went to pick up meds for my mom on Monday, I should have just picked up mine too, because I think they were already ready for me, and I just completely forgot to get them. So I still have what I need to get through the next few days and the weekend here. But yeah, didn't expect everything to still be shut down today, but Christmas does that. You kind of forget what day it is this next week. It's like, what day is today? It's Friday today. Yes. So I wake up and I go on my news, my Google News, and I see that Mr. Trump has sent troops into, well, not troops, but they've done strikes, airstrikes, over Nigerian air. He threatened a little while back that he was going to go into Nigeria because they're killing Christians over there. They're extreme Islamists, ISIS. Those guys, they're beheading believers like myself, and that's just not cool. Trump's had enough of it. The world has had enough of it. Christianity's had enough of it, and sounds like he's had some success taking out some bad guys. So good. It's funny because when I was feeling no pain and I was manic in the summertime, I wound up on Twitter, or X as it's now called. And I also wound up on another app called The Truth, which operates just like X, except it's set up more for Republicans and Trump supporters to express their views, thoughts, opinions, make friends, just like you would on X. Except it's all very Trump-centric. And I was on there manic a lot for about at least 2 weeks, writing a lot every day at President, or at real Donald Trump, at real Elon Musk, at so-and-so, going after like the biggest names in the world. And the one topic I couldn't shake was Nigeria. I'd had some scammers trying to get me from Nigeria over the phone, through text message and WhatsApp. They were trying to pretend that they were like Tom Cruise and his daughter, and they had me kind of going for a little bit there. It was really messed up. They know how to get the people that are going through. They're like, people in the West, they're all going through mental craziness. Let's get them, because they know how to get you. Those scammers are getting better and better. And they'll sit there, one of them will sit there with like 100 phones in front of them, and they're just all over them, just answering and replying and making up stories. And on this phone, they're Tom Cruise. On this phone, they're a former president. Like, this phone, there's somebody from the Illuminati. I had somebody from the Illuminati. I had women trying to sell themselves. I had all sorts of things happening when I was manic, and it was like really overwhelming because I didn't want to block anybody either. I was like, no, I can save them. I don't need to block them. Anyways, back to Nigeria. So I called out Trump. I called out Elon. Elon especially, with all the money he's got, I'm like, why don't you just go in and buy Africa? Like, you could buy all the worst parts of Africa, and we can change them. We could make them good, and not make the people suffer there anymore, and get them all set up with what they need to survive: water, connection to the outside world, to the internet, etc. These were some of the thoughts that were going through my manic mind, and my main call out was to Trump to do something about it. Go into Nigeria, do something about it. And guess what? Today they did. Has nothing to do with me whatsoever, but something about Nigeria and Africa, I was zoning in on it. And again, I go back to what I was talking about yesterday about that whole psychic thing. Like, so there's the Nigeria thing, and then there was Joe Rogan. the famous podcaster, famous guy from the UFC, commentary, Joe Rogan. He's been around for a while, and he's a well-known atheist, or at least he had been. And I went on his Twitter page, his X account, and he said on his bio there that he was a dragon believer. And I'm like, dragon believer? What does that even mean? It sounds pretty evil to me, dragon believer. Like, what are you, a Satanist? Believing in evil dragons and worshiping them? So in my manic mind, again, I start writing this, like, profound, revelatory sort of thought that I had about dragons to Joe Rogan, saying, I'm a dragon believer too. White ones with 7 horns and 7 eyes and 7 mouths. And I was like really revelationing it up. And I sent that out. I don't remember what else I said about, God bless you and whatever. But months go by, and then just last month, it's all over the news, all over social media that Joe Rogan's going to church. Joe Rogan's reading scripture. Joe Rogan's buying into it. He's not saying, oh, I'm born again now, or anything crazy like that, but he's like going to church and not believing in dragons. So I'm like, I know he didn't see my message, but again, that's another person I was zoning in on, and now I see things about them in the news, just like the Nigeria, and I'm kind of like, why was I thinking about these things? Why are they happening now? Like, so mania isn't just crazy talk necessarily, or crazy thoughts. Sometimes I believe that I am seeing through to something bigger through it all. And manic breaks down to MANIC. So I say man, I see. Manic. Man, I see. That's how I say things when I'm manic, because I feel like I can just see everything, and I understand everything. A little solo goose flying through. Oh, it's not a goose, it's a swan, a white one, all by its lonesome. Oh, there's another one. There you go. They were just split up for a minute there. I saw 2 herons yesterday flying over the field, right over there, where all the seagulls came down, or the geese came down the other day. I saw 2 herons flying about 100 feet apart, a couple hundred feet apart from each other. Massive, majestic wings, just slowly flapping in the wind, in the skies. And this is my viewpoint. Hello, viewpoint from the deck, where I like to sit. And yeah, so I'm gonna throw that in my memoirs. Just a time stamping of December 26th that Trump went into Nigeria, as per my call to arms back in June. So 6 months, not too bad. Joe Rogan, shout out. I am kidding around, but it is kind of interesting, and I told my buddy about it the other day, like, hey, I actually, like, contacted these people about this when I was out to lunch, and look what's happening now. And he kind of thought that was interesting. We had a laugh. So yeah, that's that for now. Well, wouldn't be Boxing Day if I didn't do a little bit of shopping. Just leaving my friend's place. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. I won't name drop, but my friend has marijuana that you can't get in the stores. It's just as good, if not better, than a lot of the stuff you can get in stores for a discounted rate. So why not? These things are like 20 plus bucks a pack in the stores now for regular government made cigarettes. But here in Canada, we have a lot of First Nations, Indigenous folk, especially back east, where they grow tobacco and they make cigarettes that they ship out all over the country. They call them, usually the slang is native smokes, but I'm paying, it works out to $4 a pack. Hello, Crow, flying alongside. Crows can be very distracting, can't they? Go! So, 80 bucks gets you an ounce. That lasts me a while, especially on top of other stuff that I've got. So we're set, and I'm cutting back on it. I don't need it as much as I used to. I never really do need it per se. I enjoy it. Coming up on 4 years no drinking. That's fantastic. So I'm California sober, as they call it. I have to take my prescriptions, and the pot helps in a lot of ways. And yeah, California sober. Don't miss the alcohol whatsoever. I thought I would one day. I thought if I ever quit drinking, I'd miss it a lot. I don't. I quit in the past and I missed it a lot. I'd wish to have a drink like every single day. I'd be like thinking about it, and eventually after 5-6 months I'd cave and I'd go back, and then every time I went back to drinking, it got worse every time. They say that when you relapse, usually your habit comes back worse than it did before. And that's the case with me and my alcoholism at the time. Like I said the other day in my vlog, I was an alcoholic. I'm not anymore. Crows galore. It's a murder. A murder of crows. I didn't learn that till I was well into my 30s, that a flock of crows is called a murder. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't know that, but it makes sense. You know, you got 1 or 2 crows together, there's usually a third, and it just takes 3 or more to be considered a murder. So I get discounted weed, cheap smokes. They're my 2 habits. Will I be doing them for the rest of my life? Remains to be seen. I gotta quit smoking one day, just because it is a bad habit, but I do really enjoy it, and it helps me just focus and deal. But yeah, so I'm heading home, I suppose. Got some fuel, got what I needed for Boxing Day sales. Go home and sample some of this. It's a mystery though. We don't know the name of this particular strain that I got from my friend, but I'm pretty sure it's a hybrid. Maybe a little more on the indica dominant side of being a hybrid. Maybe 50-50. But if anybody knows this kind of talk, a lot of more people are learning about it every day. Trump moving marijuana to being a very low on their classifying of drugs now. It's been moved to the same category as I think Tylenol 3. So it's not considered so evil anymore. And the plant can be used for so many things. Hemp rope, hemp this, hemp that, cannabinoids, cannabis oil, baking. I don't like to eat it too much. I don't like cookies and brownies and all that other edibles. Just too much of a body Stone, for me, I don't like it. Makes me feel a little sick. I enjoy pot being smoked or vaped, and I find that when you're feeling a little nauseous, get out of the way, crow. Just landed right in front of me to pick something up off the ground. But we're not hitting crows today. I saw a dead one on the road back in the summer when I was still manic, and I was like, I cried actually. I saw it smear of blood on the road and dead crow, and I wept for about a minute. I was like, oh, that's my friend. It was really easy to cry when I was manic too. Like, I was so happy, and I could feel, I was just so sensitive to everything as well, that I would weep a lot. Not bawling, but like tears, just like projectile crocodile tears streaming down my face like half a dozen times a day. Because I was just so in love with creation and God and animals. Just rambling on to my phone. 2:31 Friday, December 26th, Boxing Day. 5 more days till the new year. And what does that year have in store for us? Remains to be seen. But again, earlier, touching on some of that foretelling of Nigeria and Joe Rogan, I just shake my head. Like, you know, if I was manic, I'd be like, see? Look it! It's all coming true! Everything I say is coming to reality. Yeah. Back home. Until we meet again. Phone. So let's take it back to 2004. 21 years ago, when I was first going manic and wound up hospitalized for the first time for it, getting the diagnosis of bipolar type 1. There's a few types. Type 1 is the most severe. It's like a first degree burn, I think. I don't know how that works, actually, so never mind that. But bipolar type 1, the whole term for it is bipolar affective disorder type 1. Big long title. They don't call it BPD anymore, because then now there's borderline personality disorder, which is different from bipolar. A lot of times people are like, oh, she's so bipolar because she has good days and bad days. Well, maybe she just has something with her personality that's a little off, so now they give her that borderline personality disorder title. Diagnosis. It's cool. Just got to embrace who we are and accept it. At the end of the day, if we have to take meds for it, that's okay. If you break your leg, you're going to put a cast on it to fix it. So if your brain's a little broken and they've got something that can help fix that, you know, that's kind of the logic behind it for me. Also, I have to. I'm under the lock and key that I have to be medicated right now. If not, they put me back in the hospital and they give me injections, force them on me. So, and I've never done anything crazy bad to anybody. I was just too happy and too high on God and too elated. And that's what they do to people when they get that high. It's really intense. So back to 2004. First diagnosed. And I'd been, like I said, I'd been dabbling in some occultish behaviors, astrology, horoscopes. Hadn't really gotten into the numerology thing yet. That came a few years later. My love for numbers started seeing signs and meanings and numbers, and you can Google any number sequence now and see what it means, not just 1111 or 1234 or 420 or or 222 or 444 or any of those things. They all have a hidden meaning behind them now, and it's an ancient meaning maybe, and they've studied this for millennia and find meanings in anything. So I hadn't slept in like a week leading up to that first hospitalization, and I had been out in Nanaimo, spent it all night not sleeping at a friend's in Nanaimo, because I really needed to go there to apologize to them for making fun of them way back in the day. They were still a good friend of mine, but I had to be like upfront, like, we used to call you names behind your back, and I'm really sorry about that. And they were just kind of like, okay, whatever, we made fun of each other, that's what we did. And they were looking at me like I'd been abducted by aliens, because everything I was talking about was just manic shit. And I remember sleeping downstairs in the basement at their place in Nanaimo, and I didn't actually sleep. I tossed and I turned, and there was a cat who I believed was possessed with the devil and was all over me, trying to get my attention and affection and love. It was purring away, and I was like freaked right out by the cat, because I knew my friend's mom was into witchcraft a little bit. So I believed the cat was possessed, and like I was really schizoing out of my mind at this time. When I first went in the hospital, I thought that maybe I had schizophrenia, because some of my symptoms of it were so apparent, but it was really just bipolar mania with days of not sleeping, causing a psychosis that made me think things that were not reality. Come up for air. New stuff from my friend. Very good. Better than the stuff I got from the store for more money. Just $4.20 in this video. Good timing. So I get back from Nanaimo on the ferry. I haven't slept. I'm going to get on a bus from the ferry terminal in Gibsons back to where I lived. And I see on the bus this woman. Right away I notice her, because she's got these big black circles painted around her eyes, like that big around. Dark, like black circles. And I could see eyeballs when she blinked. You could see white of her eyes, and you know, I couldn't see what color her eyes were. She was too far away, but I could see these big, black, painted, very pagan-looking, to me, circles. And she was wearing all, like, hippie garb. I don't know what kind of clothing you'd call it, other than hippie garb. Wasn't stuff you'd get in the stores. She probably made it herself. I don't know, but that's the look. Darker colors, browns. I remember that, earthy tones. And she freaked me right the fuck out because of these big black circles around her eyes, and she's staring right at me. And here I'm having thoughts that I'm like an angel, or there's something really super spiritually special about me now, because I'm seeing the light through this first manic episode. I've been texting people that were trying to get me involved in their group that was the astrology group, the spiritual group that wasn't a godly spiritual group. Talked it out. I've been texting people and putting the word out there that, like, hey, I'm not following your footsteps. I'm not coming to your side. I'm going this way. And my psychosis was kicking in. And I got off the bus and I got home. And I wound up on the phone with like an old pastor friend of mine for like an hour. I did a whole bunch of manic stuff at home. I broke both my cell phones. I had a main phone and I had a backup phone. This was 2004, so there was no Kias. Destroyed them. Just destroyed them. And I was convinced I needed to get back to Chilliwack, because Chilliwack was where it was all going down. I needed to get back to my hometown. I needed to get off the coast, because the coast was evil. I could feel the evil everywhere I was on the coast. And within 2 hours of being back home from Nanaimo, haven't slept. Tried to a few nights, couldn't, didn't need to. Got back on the bus. No, actually, I didn't get back on the bus. I just freaked right out, zipped my lip. People were trying to talk to me. I wouldn't talk. I was convinced that I couldn't talk to anybody for 40 days and 40 nights. This came up in my head. And I proceeded to walk from home to the ferry terminal, which was about an hour and 10-minute walk that went by like that. I popped in my headphones. I had a CD player with a disc of like 13 worship songs on it that played for just over half an hour. So I think I listened to the CD twice, and I just power walked this windy, hilly road to get back to the ferries. I didn't bus it because I couldn't cognitively figure out the bus schedule at the time. I just knew I needed to get back onto the next boat away. And I get back to the ferry terminal on foot. And who do I see but the woman with the black circles painted around her eyes, just hanging out front of the terminal, staring at me. Like as if people knew or had been following me, so I thought. And there she was, back at the terminal, staring right at me with those big black circles around her eyes, and I felt nothing but this evil sense that she was trying to cast me out, get me off the coast, scare the shit out of me, make me go away. Because I was so infused with spirit, Holy Spirit now, that it was a threat to their culture, and that I was such a powerful guy, and I had such a voice that I was going to start ruffling a lot of feathers, and I already had enough that this person with dark circles around her eyes was casting me off the coast now. This is what's happening. Now, I wouldn't have remembered woman with dark circles around her eyes so much if it just ended at that. But it didn't just end at that. Like, what was that all about? Who was that person? I asked my sister, did you ever see a woman with dark circles around her eyes? She says, yes, actually, I did see her a few times at the mall. She had a baby in her hands, and she had her tit out, and she was feeding her baby out in public in the mall in like 2005. And that's fine, you know, but she stood out like a sore thumb with those black circles painted around her eyes. That was her MO. Creepy. So I'm in the hospital, and I'm in a room with my roommate. There's usually 2 beds. Some of the rooms have 4. They're bigger, but the average room has just 2 beds in it. And there's this guy that named Brad, bit younger than me, sharing the room with me. And we were out sitting in the main area. He was doing some drawing. Remembered he liked drawing pictures and stuff. And I hadn't said anything about some of the events leading up to my going to the hospital. I kind of forgot about it. I forgot about the woman with the dark circles around her eyes. I was on to the next thing. Every minute was something new, and they were pumping me full of meds to try to kick the crap right out of me, kick the craziness right out of me. Mom's just laughing at me because she knows I'm talking to myself probably. This kid Brad all of a sudden draws a picture and shows it to me, and he's like, does this mean anything to you? And what does he do? He slides over a picture of a woman with big black circles painted around her eyes and wearing like hippie garb. And I'm just like, what the like, why are you drawing this picture? Like, what? I didn't tell you anything about this. He went outside to go have a smoke. And when he did that, and again, I quit smoking. Like, I could have started again in the hospital. Everybody was offering me smokes because they were all smoking, and I quit everything. Like, the last few times I've been in the hospital, every time there was a break, I needed to have them. Everybody smoked in the hospital. Everybody, even non-smokers, were smoking in the hospital. I don't know why. For cool. No. So this kid draws this picture of a woman with dark circles painted around her eyes, so pagan looking, freaked me right out. As soon as he went outside, I took the picture and I tore it to shreds. And he was like looking at me like, what is wrong? What is pissing you off so much? And I think I told him, you know, and I think he was pretty freaked out that he'd had a vision of a woman with dark circles around her eyes enough to draw it and show it to me. So, goosebumps. I still get goosebumps sometimes thinking about some of these things that have happened to me, where I'm like, that was a spiritual warfare going down. That wasn't just me versus my mind and self and trying to, you know, keep my wits about me. That was something spiritual going down. Crows. And the birds are very spiritual, I find. And you do all sorts of spirit animal research on birds, and they're all very, it's about intuitiveness and sixth sense and resourcefulness. And anyways, that's just what was going down 21 years ago. And I never saw the woman with dark circles around her eyes. I didn't see many more of those people that I hung out with anymore. The seven sisters and the people that were all, that I was reading horoscopes to, that were wanting me in their group. They're whatever they called themselves. I can't remember now. But they had an organization, a literal, like, not church, not Christianity or anything, but it was like their own cult, I want to call it. And they saw me as being, I'd fit in really well, and I did for a while, and then I got away. And it made me feel a real tug of war over my soul as to which direction I was going to go, and I looked up. I'm glad that I did, because it's helped pave the way for now and tomorrow. Okay, so we've reached pretty much the end of Boxing Day. Sort of the end of the trifecta of Christmas, I call it. As it's like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. It's all just Christmas. I really didn't do a lot today at all. Very unproductive day. I stayed in bed, dozed in and out, got up, had a smoke, back lay down, just went out, picked up some McDonald's. I hit up fast food a few times now since getting my license back on Monday. That was my favorite day of the week. It was definitely Monday, getting my license back and doing my first big old vlog about it. And yeah, here we are. I was gonna go out to a pub here in town because a buddy of mine, old friend of mine, is DJing tonight. And they're going to be doing like 80s and 90s, and there's going to be an older crowd than like the 2-3 party. I don't know how busy it was going to be necessarily, but it is Friday and it is the holidays, and you know, it could be some fun. But I thought better of it. I wasn't really feeling up to going out, and you know, I haven't really heard back from this friend in a while. I've tried reaching out to them and saying, hey, what's up, in the last couple months, but nothing back. So maybe it would be awkward if all of a sudden I just showed up and was like, hey, how you doing? Like, I know they'd be DJing and pretty tied up, so we wouldn't be able to really chat too much, but I wouldn't want to make it awkward if there's any weird feelings there. So I don't know. A bunch of people that have been close to me in my past have distanced themselves and blocked me, or just not replying to me at all on anything. And I'm definitely leaving them alone now. But when I was manic, there were a bunch of old friends that I tried hitting up and just because they came to mind. Everybody comes to mind when I'm in a manic state. So many people come to mind. The past is like right there alive to me, and I think of all these people from my past, and I want to reach out to them, and they don't want anything to do with it. They don't want anything to do with me. And I never thought of myself as being a person that people wouldn't want to have anything to do with. It kind of sucks. So I decided I wasn't going to go tonight. Just based on these thoughts that I have. Maybe I'm overthinking and overanalyzing everything. Everybody's got their own lives. They're busy doing their own shit. I get it. People move on and have things to do. But when it hasn't been just one or two people, but like 20 people that have not been responsive, not been nice, not been supportive. That's not being supportive. If you say you love somebody, you got to show you're being supportive too. You can't just, yeah, I don't know. But, so yeah, it hurts, but I'm tougher than that, and I just shake it off. And I know that one day things will change, things will get better in time, and I just can't sweat it, because this happens in life. We move on, and I hold on to people and have a hard time letting go of things sometimes. That's for sure. So anyways, I'm not bummed out. I'm just a little stoned and very right now. Mom's just sitting inside playing her game on her tablet. A game called Rummy Cube. It's a pretty cool game. Good brain game for her. I play chess. I play quite a bit of chess. I'm pretty good at chess. I've got a few games on the go right now online. Chess.com. Yeah, waiting for them to make their moves so I can find a way to win these games too. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to report. I'm looking forward to some nicer days so I can go for a drive, find some spots to do this at. Passing time, talking about past times and future times, and I don't know. This is what I'm doing, so I'll leave it at that and bid you adieu. Adieu?